Make a Path presents Let's Talk.
Let's Talk, The Walking Dead, Episode 15. Alright guys, before we get into the long-winded topics of this video, I do want to knock out, just in a line, some of the smaller things I just want to point out real quick. One, they're spoon-feeding us too much of the W's on the forehead. I know they're trying to say it's coming up the next episode. I know they're driving that point home. The W people, the confrontation, definitely next episode. And how we know is because the W's everywhere now. It is everywhere now. You know, it's not just one hint in an episode. It's, 7 hints in this episode alone. Or maybe more, I didn't count. The second thing is Nicholas. He is a piece of shit, we all know that. But I think Deanna is onto him. Definitely onto him. In the interview, it sounded like she smelled bullshit. And she's also re-watching the interview, so maybe she's picking out more of his bullshit. And if she has him recorded, she has Glenn recorded. She probably watched Glenn too, and got a better look at how Glenn was more genuine. But I do think that she's still reserved, obviously, from what we've seen, of the group. And we could tell because she didn't take Carol's food, she didn't eat it, and she ended up burning the I'm sorry card. Next, we have Carl and Enid, and they have a nice developmental scene for their characters and their budding relationship, let's call it. And I really like that scene. We have Enid opens up a little bit, becomes more likable as a character. She started carving, and I was hoping it wouldn't be a reveal with the W, because I don't buy that story, especially now. It is confirmed she was at Alexandria for 8 months. I just don't see a group that vicious and violent waiting off on the side for 8 long months while she's getting intel on these people who pose almost no threat to them whatsoever. I don't buy it. But Enid did have 2 dialogue moments in here I thought was very great. She told Carl that this is their world, we're just living in it. And then she said how she was scared of him, and she thinks it's cute, or she likes the fact that he's a little scared of her. But I like the direction they went with that. I like the dialogue. It was nice seeing Carl have a budding relationship with a person his age, and then even the opposite sex. That was actually very nicely done. Next on the list is Glenn. Man, he put Nick in his place, and he put him in his place good. Here's where an issue arises. That is very, very different than his comic book counterpart, which means they're most likely gonna change either Nicholas's role in the future, or Glenn's from the comic book, or Glenn's role in the future during that scene. It most likely will be a different character if they do that. But this is season 6, so I'm not even gonna go over this any more than I already did right now. We'll probably save this for the break or some other time. We need to see what he does in episode 16, because after Glenn talks to Nick, he goes and gets the gun. Boom! Revelation. Nicholas got the gun. And for me personally, I was like, wait, how the fuck? He was at the gate, he was collecting their weapons, and him being at the gate is the reason why I checked him off of the list of possible suspects who went and got the gun. But we saw Enid out there. I could have sworn that was like, oh, hey, she's out there, it has to be her. Again, I got overly cocky with that prediction. But now we know that Enid being out there at the house was showing us, or foreshadowing later on, that she does sneak out. It was setting that up. Sorry, not foreshadowing. But then we got this Nicholas jackass who stole the gun. Why did he steal the gun? How did he steal the gun? I'm thinking it was something like this. The way the area is set up, you have the gun area here, you have Alexandria here. Rick hides the gun. Nicholas probably saw him. He's probably out torturing walkers or whatever the hell it is his bitch ass does. So then Nicholas comes over, takes the gun. Rick and his group drive around to the entrance, and all Nick bitch has to do is walk from here to here, get in the gate, 30 seconds to a minute before the group pulls up, and they did go slow, our group, when they got to the gate. So that's how Nicholas ended up with the gun inside the gate. Or maybe he went out to hide it. Or did he hide it when he found it? I don't know, but the bitch has the gun. And I'm assuming that's going to come into play in the next episode, or it's going to be saved for season 6. And as you guys know, in the comic book, Nicholas plays a role where he doesn't get along with Rick, and that gun may play a role in that. Or there's another possibility. Nick could give the gun to Pete. He could use the gun Just putting it out there. And then this brings us to Daryl and Aaron. I am really liking them two out as recruiters. I love how we got more of the W reveal. I love how it's twisted and creepy and it's really freaky. Daryl comes up to the woman tied up on the tree, and it is eerily similar to Carol's threat to Sam when Carol was getting the gun, remember? It is almost the same thing. No, it is the same thing. But with Daryl and Aaron outside of the gates, we're seeing a lot more walkers. We also saw a lot more walkers with Sasha. I mean, she was a killing machine in this episode. And I do like that brings up No Way Out. No Way Out story arc, for those of you who don't know, a mega herd comes through and comes face to face with Alexandria. They're showing more of a concentration of walkers around Alexandria, and I'm thinking they're going in that direction. I just don't know yet, or I'm not convinced yet, if it will be the cliffhanger where we see a herd coming at the end of episode 16, or this is going to be a cliffhanger for episode 1 of season 6. Now, with all the walkers, we did get a lot of scenes with Sasha killing walkers, and I think this is actually very important, and unfortunately it overshadowed the importance it played on Michonne. I fucking love this. Let me just say this right now. I could be totally wrong, reading it in a totally different light, but the shit with Sasha and the shit with Michonne going to look for Sasha, you have Rosita breaking that walker's leg. I just want to toss that in there because that was awesome. I like little bits of Rosita. She's, and I'm really hoping that her character doesn't turn out to be shit. But I really like what they did here. You have Sasha, who we see she's torn apart with all these demons. She lost Bob, she lost Tyrese, and I know everyone's so sick of hearing about it, but damn, give the girl a break. She, not only did she lose those people, but she has this moment where she brings up Noah. And I've seen 100 messages where people are like, this is fucking stupid. The writers don't know what they're doing. She didn't even know Noah like that. She talked with him like once or twice. And I really think that people misinterpreted that. She's not crushed because she lost Noah too. That's not what it's about. She is in a selfish way. She is fucking pissed at herself. She's disgusted with herself because she was such a bitch to Noah. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I think this plays a part in why she's putting distance between herself and other people. You know what I'm saying? She just has so much shit going on, and some of her argument didn't even make sense. I'll be honest right now. When she was telling Michonne it worked out for you or whatever, I am going to go over this in another video, but you have to read into that because right off the bat, it wasn't an argument that made sense immediately to me. I sat back and was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, what? What are you saying? And Sasha looked like she was losing it. She's not sleeping. She's staying up there. She's hunting walkers. You know what I mean? She's going through it right now. And I do think that her going through it did overshadow Michonne, because Michonne came there. We had an awesome moment where we got Michonne flashbacks from the different seasons of her going nuts, killing the walkers. Michonne is battling her own demons because we see Michonne and she's in a room half asleep. She gets up, she looks at Noah's shirt, then she comes over, gets her uniform, sets it on the bed, she sighs, sits down. It's like she doesn't want to take that. She doesn't want to embrace that. She doesn't want to take the chance on Alexandria. It's like she doesn't believe in it. She might not believe in it. Something's missing for her. She's hesitant about it. Rosita comes in. Michonne's like, all right, let's go. She doesn't even put on uniform. There's just something there Michonne is battling with. So Michonne goes out there. They find Sasha. And so many people just didn't see that scene was focusing on Michonne right there. Well, and Sasha too, but there's a very important thing that happens, because what happens with Michonne, she looks pretty hot shooting a pistol, right? Yeah, my girl knows she could bust a cap. So Michonne tells Sasha, she's like, I'm not doing this for you, bitch, I'm doing this for me right now. So she's plugging away. Rosita kneecaps a mother dick, and then you have Michonne later, who knocks Rick the fuck out in uniform. She's not hesitating anymore. There's zero hesitation. We went from her in her room, not wanting to put on uniform, hesitant. She's going through some shit. She doesn't want to take a chance on Alexandria at this moment in time. She doesn't even want to put on the damn uniform. What is this shit all about? What is stopping her? Then she comes upon Rick, who, as she's walking up, he is a bloody mess, yelling like the Joker, and he starts talking like the governor. Similar to the governor, where the governor said, you kill or you die and you kill. Rick is on the ground and he's yelling at these poor people, scaring them to death, and he says, if you don't kill, you die. And she fucking knocks him out. She's stepping up and making a decision, and she's not a traitor. She didn't betray Rick. She knows that she's not going to walk up and talk him down. And if it wasn't for that scene in the woods and that reversal, Michonne doing that wouldn't have made sense as much. It would have just been like, oh, that was in there for the comic book. But you see how she's battling with her own demons. Now she's going to give Alexandria a chance. Boom, knocks Rick out. She's gonna go put him to sleep, wake him up. Listen, Rick, get your shit together. You're not tactful like you were in the past. You're kind of losing your shit. You're bouncing this borderline between a man who has honor and, is an honorable man, to somebody who's just making excuses like the governor did before he turned into a complete psychopath. And I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying I feel like this is how Michonne sees it. She's not bashing Rick over a head just to say, I'm with Alexandria now, we're gonna, exile you. No, she's saying that's my friend right there, and his, being itself is being taken over by this madness. I'm gonna put an end to it. It's lights out. You need to rest. Get your shit together. This is not you, Rick. And Rick was making very good points. He is not, going full Shane. You know what I'm saying? He is making very good points. The only problem is, it's that blurred lines of not totally being overcome by the madness. So that's just how I got it from Michonne. Like, she was saving a friend, and she was sending that clear message not only to them, but to herself. I'm not hesitating. I am making a stand, and I'm going for something I believe in. And I believe that that was a turning point for Michonne. You know what? We are going to go in depth with what's going on between Rick and Jesse. That will definitely come up in another video, but again, we don't have enough time for that, so I'm going to go over some of the more important things. When Carol and Rick are talking, Rick almost gets emotional. You could see it in his eyes when he's just hearing about the child having to lock himself in a closet and coming out and his mother's unconscious and bleeding. And her strength in this video, mixed with we're finally seeing some of her weakness now, you know what I mean? It's starting to come to light. It was good and it was bad in a way. And this is what I thought affected some of the story. Alexandria Breckenridge's performance, I thought, was a little too strong and seemed a little too unemotionally attached, if you get what I'm saying. But we'll get there. So Rick hears Carol and he walks off. They have a nice exchange. He walks off and he pulls out his gun and he's contemplating. Again, this is the buildup of the madness that I was talking about previously, about with Michonne, and she's recognizing the madness. He has the gun. Pete comes over and he's holding the gun, and Rick is thinking about killing Pete, not killing Pete. He says, Pete, just keep it moving. The madness builds up. He has control. But how much longer does he have that control? Now, Rick has a dialogue with Jesse, and they're having that conversation. To simply put it, it's like when you go for a job application. I know it's going to sound real stupid. You go for a job, right? And your employer sees potential in you. Or let's say your coach sees potential in you. And we do this every day. And I think people jump the gun when they see like Rick and Jesse, because it's going to develop into more than a platonic relationship. But Rick sees this potential in her. That's the way I got it. It's not like he's just head over heels in love with this chick he doesn't know. He has an attraction there, yeah. He sees potential in this woman. He sees a woman in danger, and he doesn't know why, but he's just drawn to her. This happens in real life. There's just something there. Maybe it's something unexplained that we're drawn to. That is the best quickest way I can explain the Rick thing. Again, we're going to go in depth on that in another video. And this is where we get the good and the bad from the Pete and Rick showdown. Now, we get the Pete and Rick showdown, and I do want to state this from the beginning. He even says it. Rick tells Pete, "I'm a guy who's trying not to kill you." And that starts the fight. Rick ducks Pete's attack, punches Pete in the face, and then he lets Pete crack him in the mouth. And he just stands there, and he's like, "Listen, are you done now?" Rick was demonstrating control right there, and I think people are overlooking that. So Pete tackles him into a wall. Pete smashes his head off the wall. Rick is still trying not to kill him. Because everyone is sitting there saying, "Oh, that was a weak-ass fight. Rick just got his ass kicked. He's supposed to be the hero." Through the entire fight, Rick is trying not to just kill him. And keep in mind, and everyone's forgetting this, Rick could have just said, "Fuck this," pulled out his gun, and shot him. Done. Rick didn't do that. He got a whooping. He got it as good as he gave it because he didn't want to kill him. He was trying to fight that madness we're talking about that's growing inside him. Whether or not he's justified is not the point. So they go out the window, and we head a commercial. Real quick, I want to rewind and touch on why I thought Jesse came off as too strong and unemotionally attached. I just wanted to see a little bit more life there and a little bit more kind of uncertainty. Like maybe she looked to Rick, maybe just even once and was like, "Am I doing the right thing?" Like second guessing herself. Maybe that's, counterproductive to her just saying, "Yeah, I have someone who's going to assist me now. This isn't my hero. He's not saving the day, but he's going to assist me. I finally have help. I have something there that's going to back me up in case this gets out of hand." And then she says, "Okay, listen, you need to get out, Pete. You need to be the one to go." I love that. I love the fact that she stepped up and was like, "This is it. This is now or never." It just came off too unemotional. It came off too much, like too strong, if I can. Maybe it's just me reading into it, but for me, it just didn't work for me. I liked it partially. That's all I'm saying. It took me out of the moment, kind of. I was like, oh. But when Pete and Rick were going to go at it, I started getting, like, really hyped up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be some shit. The tension is there. Hardcore. And they went out the window. We cut to a commercial break. First thing that ripped me right out of it. Why the fuck would you put a commercial there? Given the stunt guys went through that window like a boss. That was just awesome. They came crashing through the window. Awesome. But then we start the fight. And we cut to them on the ground, and there's not really much there. A couple hits that we don't even see. Maybe some rib shots, whatever. It was not as intense as I was hoping it would be. I'll be honest with you. It was disappointing, and it was a letdown. I did think it was very interesting when Rick is on the ground, Pete is over him, and he's like the governor, on top of Pete. Jesse comes over, and Pete cracks her right in the face, right there in front of everybody. I mean, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it was in front of everybody, but I like how Jesse took, like, Michonne's spot, Pete took the governor's spot, and Rick is on the ground. It was like a nice callback. So then Rick gets on top, and then Carl comes over. Damn it, Carl, stay the fuck away. So Rick pushes him aside, and this is where it could get debatable. It's something I would do, because you can't be in a fight like that and be like, oh, my son is saying stop, okay, and expect the other raging lunatic who has a temper problem and likes to beat women to not, punch your son in the face or not keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? So Rick pushes him aside, but then again, it's debatable. You could say, oh, Rick is just like Pete. Now, and at the end, when everyone's there, Deanna breaks it up. Rick gives him a final warning. If you touch them again, I'm going to kill you. Now, when Rick gets off him, he sees the other guy step forward like everyone's going to bum rush the situation and take it over, and Rick pulls his pistol and he's like, no, I'm airing this discrepancy out right now. There's a problem here, and we're going to talk about it right now. Not only that, the threats from before about Deanna, I'm just going to exile you. Rick is like, you know what, I'm pulling this chick's card right in front of everybody. And he even talks with a different tone, and I like that a lot. It was like his Joker moment, the Rick Grimes Joker moment. The madness is now exploding inside him. He still restrains himself from just killing Pete, and he could have killed him anytime he wanted to. And a lot of us like to downplay the emotional torment our characters go through because they're fictional characters. But if you think about Rick Grimes as a real man and having to bear the burden of the weight of the worries that man has is incredible. In real life, it's totally understandable why he loses his shit. The writers, the actors, they do that with these characters. They look at how those characters feel. They look at the burdens they take on. That is why they do things, and sometimes we think it's, not right, not fitting, out of character, because they'll look deeper at the burdens that this life places on these characters, and sometimes it makes them snap or do things, act a different way, react a different way, and I like that, how deep the writers and actors go. And sometimes we as fans and viewers, we forget about how much that trauma would actually affect them. Now, Rick's speech made a lot of sense, and he teeters between being okay and being too far gone. And then he gets the governor-like quote that I talked about before. If you don't fight, you die. And the governor said, you kill or you die and you kill. Michonne comes along, sees a Rick who's just losing his grip on his diplomatic ways, his tact, just himself. He's losing his grip on himself. And Michonne was just helping him out. In a very painful way, but she was helping him out. She was helping them out as a group. She's helping out the entire whole of that group and Rick, and I just can't stand the sight of people branding her as a traitor. In my eyes, that was just tough love. There's no way she was going to de-escalate that situation just talking. Alright, Deadheads, thank you again. Thank you constantly for having the patience to wait for these discussion videos on the episodes to upload. They do take quite a while. Something as long as this video sometimes could take 6 to 8 hours to upload. So thank you tremendously. I am going to do something for Season 6 that's hopefully a new structure. That's hopefully going to trim how long the videos are. And it's going to speed up the upload process. So I am doing something for Season 6 that's going to get these videos out a little faster. We're talking it's still Monday. It's always going to be Monday because I love sleeping on it and letting it soak in what happened. The prediction video is coming after this. Thank you again for sharing the video, liking the video, your, just every day, your encouragement. It absolutely means the world to me. We're pulling in 1,000 new subscribers every week. And it's not just the videos or the video quality or me personally. It's the word of mouth. You guys are talking about this channel everywhere. You're sharing the videos everywhere you can. The support is absolutely wonderful. And I will not forget it anytime soon. But as far as this episode is concerned, leave your opinions in the comments down below. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.